What's up, everybody? Brick MMA. Um, I don't usually talk about MMA news that's going around and stuff, but I'm a big flyweight enjoyer, flyweight enthusiast, if you will. And I've recently just seen the news of Kyoji Horiguchi potentially coming back to the UFC. And honestly, by potentially, I mean it's probably gonna happen, right? He's pretty much confirmed it himself, and I'm very excited for him to come back. Horiguchi, if you hear me, please save us. Horiguchi, please save us. If you hear me, please save us. I want to talk about Horiguchi coming back, and I kind of just want to fantasy matchmake and how I think the UFC should approach him entering the UFC rankings and him potentially fighting for a title, right? Because there's some awkwardness to that, right? So this is just a news article that I'm just gonna have up just to, you know, uh, just this is just a news article, right? Um, but now I want to talk about the rankings, right? I want to talk about how they should enter him into the top 15, and I think, you know, don't disrespect Horiguchi, bro. Give him a ranked opponent immediately. I don't want to see him versus somebody outside the rankings. That I feel like that's kind of pointless. He's 34. He doesn't need that in his career right now. You know, like that would just be a necessary body strain that he would take during a camp for pointless. Like it's pointless, right? Fucking shit keeps going out, bro. That's my lighter. Right. So, looking at the top 15 right now, right? Joshua Van, Johnson, Temirov, Silva, Ulanbekov, Tim Elliott. I don't know if we should have him fighting 10 to 15, because 10 to 15 is like the prospect area. It's kind of like you want to. These are some of the people you want to build. Or some of the people that you want to just feed, right? So Charles Johnson coming off a loss. We just had Andre Lima fight. I believe last week. And we should probably get Charles Johnson versus Andre Lima, right? We should get Lima in the rankings. Temirov is a prospect, so they're probably gonna have him fight up. He's probably gonna fight Bruno Silva, or I think he should at least. Joshua Van, he should be getting a major push. I think Tagir is a scary fight for him, especially because Tagir be fucking cheating. He's a weight bully. And he's very big for the weight class, right? Tim Elliott, I don't know. He's been seeming like he refuses to fucking fight. He's been inactive for like a year and a half, 2 years now. This is somebody you want to feed, right? I think you can, if you wanted to get him right into the top 10, Tim Elliott versus Horiguchi. Not necessarily that exciting of a fight, though. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's more interesting fights you can make. You can give him Almabayev. I think he wins that fight. I think that's still a good fight that people would care for, or maybe tune into, right? But if we're talking about bangers, right? I think Almabayev and Tim Elliott would be good to debut him. But if you really wanted to start off with the bang, bro, you either just throw him straight at Amir Albazi, Royval, or Moreno. Albazi is the most beatable one. I will admit. I think Horiguchi puts the beats on Albazi for sure. Moreno has ran out of people to fight in the division. I think Moreno Horiguchi would be smart. Not smart. Would be interesting. It would be very entertaining. I really don't know how. I don't know if this is a winnable fight for Horiguchi. Like I'm saying, if you want to get Horiguchi into title contention as quick as possible, like the least path of resistance is Albazi. I would say it's Albazi. Like you give him an Albazi, and then you maybe get and then you maybe get like a Moreno fight afterwards, or a Royval fight afterwards. And then he gets a title shot, but I think because Pantoja Kai Kara France is probably what's next for the title, and that's fine, right? I'm not tripping about that. I think, call me superstitious. I believe in the 35 shit, so I think Pantoja will probably lose his next fight to Kai Kara France because he will be 35 years old at the time they fight. He's 34 right now. He turns 35 a month from now. He's not gonna fight a month from now, right? Like it hasn't even been officially announced. And if Kai Kara France is champ, we absolutely need Manel Kape fighting for the belt, and we're absolutely gonna get it, especially if Kai Kara France wins the belt. And if Manel Kape wins, and Horiguchi is on beats Albazi, I think we should get Kape versus Horiguchi, because they fought before. This is a rematch that's needed to happen. That needs to happen. Right? Now, Moreno and Royval will absolutely not be happy about the decision. About that fight being made. But there is nobody else for them to fight. And this is just hypothetically, you want to sell a UFC Japan card as soon as possible. Right? I believe Royval is 2-0 since losing to Pantoja. He's beat Moreno. He's beat Tyra. Right? So I think he needs one more. Jeez, I don't even know who the fuck they should fight, bro. Honestly. Moreno's beat Albazi and then lost her. Actually, no, yeah. Moreno's a while away from a championship belt. So that's good. Excuse me, bro. I gotta fucking sneeze. So he shouldn't be too upset. He should just be looking to fight anybody. Honestly, yeah, we could probably skip Moreno Royval and just get a Kape versus Horiguchi, and it would be even better if Horiguchi can be a Moreno or Royval. Now, my only concern though is Horiguchi is 34. He's not the youngest. You know, he's very experienced. He has a lot of fights. He doesn't have much trouble versus grapplers. And speaking of grapplers, in Pantoja, let's say he got a title shot, maybe somewhere immediately, and Pantoja is still champion. We might get a Marab Aljo situation, because they're well-known training partners. I'm pretty sure they're friends as well. I don't think it's just like a business partner relationship. I think they're genuine friends. I think they both like each other. They both respect each other. Horiguchi has been teasing the UFC return for a while now, so I'm pretty sure he must have known that maybe one day they're going to fight. So hopefully we don't get a Marab Aljo situation when we get to see Pantoja versus Horiguchi. I think this would be an incredibly high-level fight. And I think we're going to see, if this would happen, we would see Pantoja get pushed very hard. Harder than Moreno. And just in case, if you need a reminder of Horiguchi, if you don't count his loss to Demetrius Johnson, he was undefeated in the UFC before signing with Ryzen. Let that sink in. Hand on shoulder. Listen, bro. Horiguchi's that guy, bro. He hasn't fought in modern UFC, but Horiguchi is that guy, bro. Like, he has solid names on his resume. Sergio Pettis went 5 rounds with Patchy Mix at bantamweight. Ryzen bantamweight champion. Ryzen flyweight champion, I believe, as well, and Bellator bantamweight champion, I believe, at one point. So this guy has fought and been a champ in other promotions, in 2 promotions. Bellator obviously having like Michael Chandler come over. Who else came over from Bellator? Shit, that's really all I know right now. Yuri coming from Ryzen. So, you know, he's not beating nobodies, right? Sergio Pettis has been in the UFC before. Patchy Mix is one of the best fighters outside the UFC in general. He's probably like top 5 best fighters outside the UFC. Oh yeah, I finished that. Let me put that out. All right. So yeah, I think realistically, if you want to appeal to the fan base and be like, oh, that's not fair, you know, we can't keep doing this with his flyweight, give him Almabayev, maybe Alex Perez when he comes back. But I think Alex Perez is more of like a prospect feed kind of fighter, you know. If you get like a Temerov versus Perez, you know, kind of thing. Like you want just people to just jump the gun and give him somebody that can maybe be enter the top ranks of flyweight. But in terms of like availability, you know, I don't want to kill Tatsuro Taira off as a prospect because I think he loses to Horiguchi badly. You know, you want to get Alex Perez. You want to give him Alex Perez, Asu Amabayev, Tim Elliott. You know, these are just like, you want him in the top 10 instantly. I can definitely still see the Albazi fight happening, like as his debut. But I think because Perez, I believe, is still injured. He's still recovering. He's still out. He's still sitting out, trying to, you know, get his knee better after losing to Taira. Shit, dude. I think realistically, it's just gonna be Tim Elliott or Asu Mabayev, and then he's probably gonna fight up from there. We're gonna see how the Steve Erceg versus Moreno fight goes on. If Steve gets a win, then we might see Steve back in the title picture. If you know, in that same scenario where Moreno loses, we can get a Horiguchi versus Moreno. That would be a very fun fight to put on. You could put that on a co-main. You could put that on a Japan fight night, bro. Mexico fight night. That's a banger. That's a banger. So yeah, at 34 years old, I would say the best route for Horiguchi himself would be just hop right in versus Albazi. Because it's not necessarily like a step up in competition, I would say, because I don't necessarily rate Albazi, especially being, you know, fluking a win over Kai Kara France and getting absolutely destroyed versus Moreno. I don't really rate Albazi. I don't know how he's top 3. You know, I would try to defend Albazi sometimes. I'd be like, you know, maybe he should deserve the hate. You know, he's still like top 10 in the world. He's just not top 3, right? So I think easiest way, best way, most convenient, Albazi. But for whatever reason, if he can't fight Albazi, he is unfortunately gonna have to start slow and build his streak versus you know, Asu and Tim. But yeah, so I don't want to keep rambling on about the same thing over and over. I'm probably gonna end the video there. Hopefully, we just don't get Horiguchi versus Kaya Sakura. I think that would be pretty stupid to have Kaya Sakura versus, Horiguchi versus Taira. I think that's also pretty stupid. Like, I wouldn't put that on a Japan card just because you get the guaranteed Japan winner. I think they should both fight different people because they both should, like, they're both going to be being pushed by the UFC heavily to enter the Japanese market more. So, you know, one losing to the other kind of fucks it up. You want both of them to be winning at the same time, and then, you know, maybe they fight each other for the belt. You know, hypothetically. But yeah, that was my video. Hopefully we get the official announcement of Kyoji Horiguchi being signed soon. Hopefully he gets a fight announced just as soon, and I will see y'all in the next video.